Welcome to the Awakened Goddess Show, your source for inspiration, wisdom, and personal discovery. The place to learn from a diverse mix of mentors, metaphysical experts, spiritual leaders, and best-selling authors from around the world. I'm Angela Wilkinson, attraction coach and founder of The Goddess Next Door. Join me as I explore the minds of my masterful guests while they share powerful insights and easy-to-use tools you can start using right away. Now, let's tap into the energy of the Awakened Goddess and be enlightened by today's guest. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Angela Wilkinson, and welcome to this episode of the Awakened Goddess Show. Roz Miller-Choice is a U.S. commercial real estate investor and is the author of 5 real estate investment books. Prior to becoming an investor, Roz was an award-winning television reporter. She reported on stories across the country for CNN, Fox TV, and WCBS TV. As a television journalist, Roz was on location with her TV crew at natural disasters, crime scenes, riots, and protests. She has interviewed heads of states, entertainment celebrities, and newsmakers. Roz Miller-Choice has been a guest speaker at the United Nations and at universities in Latin America. She's manifested everything from private stays at a castle to living in a $1 million property in the south of France. Roz embodies the art of manifesting and today shares the techniques she has learned to attract what you want in your life. But before I talk with Roz today, I'm super excited to share that Spark Society is now officially open. Spark Society is the place to be to ignite your own brilliance and let it shine. Join today and you'll get immediate access to a collection of exclusive gifts from Awakened Goddess Show guests, plus a private community to connect with other awakened goddesses to share insights and ideas. Visit bit.ly, that's bit.ly/Spark Society for more information and to join today. See you in the society. Welcome, Roz, to the Awakened Goddess Show. I am so excited to have you join me today. You are helping me kick off my birthday week. And just to let the listeners in on a little behind the scenes, you are my best friend from New Jersey. So, welcome.
Well, thank you. Now, there's an honor. Best friend from New Jersey. Girl.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I was trying to think earlier how long we've known each other. And I think when I moved to New Jersey, I think that was in 2009.
Okay.
And we met when I was running Law of Attraction groups at my place. And gosh, the rest is history.
Exactly. You know, as a matter of fact, I believe that we met in 2010. You had been here for a while. You'd been in New Jersey for a while, and we met that following year. So it was after I had been to a conference in Philadelphia and was introduced to Abraham Hicks, and I recall that was May of 2010, and I met you after that.
Oh, cool. You've always been an amazing master manifester, and this is what I really want to dive in and talk with you about today, because you know, you don't just manifest little things, you manifest freaking big things like castles and like thousands and thousands of dollars of designer clothing, amazing real estate transactions, $1 million house that you lived in France. Oh my gosh. So
That's right. And what's beautiful about manifesting and receiving things from the universe is that there is no such thing as big. A castle and a button are the exact same thing for the universe to manifest. It takes no more energy to manifest either of those things. And once we get that into our true thoughts and understanding and beliefs, you realize that there is nothing that is impossible for you to manifest.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it is a process, and you have to understand how to manifest. And hopefully we'll get some of that in today.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that we are kind of designed, or we've been trained to not think things can come easily and effortlessly. And so it's really a unlearning of things that most of us have learned. So when was it that you realized that you could manifest whatever you wanted into your life?
I believe I realized it as a teenager at first. However, it made me uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It made me uncomfortable, and I thought, this is something that I shouldn't be able to do. This is weird. This makes me really odd. And it wasn't until my adulthood and I matured, I realized it's okay to be odd, and it's okay to be unique, and I'm willing to embrace my differences.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those differences is that I do have an ability to manifest.
Mm-hmm.
And manifest certain things relatively easy. Other things, not so easy, but for the most part, manifesting is easy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've also trained myself to do that. I've trained my thinking. And that's, honestly, it's the thinking and it's the emotions and it's the feelings. You change those three things that you have control of. No one outside of you has that control of how you believe, how you feel, how you think. You change those three things, you change the world that you see.
Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, do you remember what the first significant thing that you manifested was as a teenager?
Opportunities, conversations, meeting people I was interested in meeting, talking to people that I was interested in talking to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like those synchronistic things that happen. Things just lining up.
Yes, and I think even as a young person, I understood that there were no coincidences. There were things that I was helping to create and bring into my life. I understood that. Maybe not on a really intellectual level, but just sort of on a soul level, I understood that.
Mm-hmm.
Then, now, as an adult, after having read many books, gone to many workshops, read lots of material on this law of attraction notion, I now realize what power I was harnessing.
And how would you describe that power?
It's a power that each of us has, that hopefully at some point in your physical lifetime, you'll realize that you have. Your power as a connected being to be, have, and do anything that you choose to. It is your ability to tap into something that's already there. Whether you recognize it or not, or choose to or not, take advantage of it. It is there for you. It's the same power that created worlds. It's the power that created the galaxies. And earnestly, when I first started studying this material, the law of attraction material and information, I was overwhelmed by it. And overwhelmed by the thought that somehow I was connected to this.
Mm-hmm.
That was really such a big thought for me to grapple with. And some days it still is. Almost too much for me to grapple with. But on enough days, I can relate, respond, and utilize that power that is your God-given right to access.
Yeah. So, what's coming to mind, because I know so many of your manifestation stories, and one that comes to mind is the story of how you got into media and how you did something that most people logically would think would be impossible. And that is is going right to the New York market.
Oh, okay.
You know,
I was
you're
wondering where you were going with this story. What's she talking about? Okay, yes. That's right. And that's so funny. I told you that story, and it was not until this moment, as you related it, that I confess that I considered that a manifestation story. And you're right. It had to have been. Angela is referring to the fact that I wanted to be a television reporter. And the traditional way of becoming a television reporter in the United States is to send out your resume and your tapes to small markets throughout the U.S., and small markets meaning regions that have fewer people. You don't start off in Chicago or Philadelphia or Baltimore, those large cities, or Los Angeles, definitely not New York. And I was in the process of sending my resume out, my tapes out to all of these small markets that were saying, no, 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 no. I had enough rejection letters to wallpaper a house. And by chance, ha ha ha, there are no coincidences, I was with a friend who was dating someone, and he introduced me to his friend, who happened to be an editor at a station in New York City. I told him what I wanted, what I was looking to do, and through him, I was able to submit my resume and tape to a New York executive producer. And so I landed my first job at a New York television station, which for the most part is incredibly rare. My television career was never anywhere else but New York. I stayed in New York and worked for several of the networks, and I covered New York stories that had a national interest for the networks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're right. That was truly a manifestation story that I've forgotten. I've been so blessed with so many that...
Not to brag. But.
I guess it's a good position to be in when you forget some of your manifestations. You've had so many.
I know, it is true. It's like, you know, those things where we're just kind of going along, going with the flow, and we're following whatever feels inspiring to us. Like, it's like you have that instant thought or feeling, oh, you know, this, I think I should do this. And if you follow it, that's where the magic happens, because that's where you're kind of partnering up with the universe and just allowing things to line up.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Well, you just hit it on the head. That is it. It is the willingness to follow up. It's the willingness to take steps when you aren't sure that the ground will support you. It's the willingness to step into something new without the assurance that it will work. If you have had a desire, but you choose to stay in your comfort zone, in your box, and do what you did yesterday and do what you did the day before and the week before and the month before, and not be willing to try anything new, this will not work for you.
Yeah.
It won't work. You have to be willing to step out. And you have to be willing to step out on faith. And I think part of the fact that I am such a good manifester is that my personality naturally is one that is willing to pull my own safety net and jump without the assurance that there will be a safety net to catch me. It must be that I'm part nuts. I don't know. But I am absolutely willing to do that. And I think that oftentimes makes a difference. Because, see, when you are willing to take the next step without knowing the direction, without being absolutely secure, you display your faith. Mm-hmm. And faith is a big part of manifesting. there is a faith that you have to have that indeed the universe will buoy you, will support you, will embrace you, will open doors for you, will make a way for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that there is a lot about being able to pivot quickly, too.
What do you mean?
So, like, say, for me, I know one of my challenges has been, I know what I want and I go after it. And sometimes I get in my own way by continuing in that same direction. I think I know what it's going to look like. This is what I want, and I go for it. But there is so much power in pivoting, meaning that you have the end goal, what you want in mind, but then you allow universe and things that come up for you. You follow the flow of the energy to get you to the end result. And the end result isn't always going to look like what you think it's going to.
That's key.
Yeah.
It may not look at all as you thought it was going to look. My experience is it looks better than what I could have pictured.
Mm-hmm.
The universe delivers to me something bigger, broader, more improved than what I could have thought.
As you're talking, I'm really thinking about when you're manifesting a mate.
Mm-hmm.
This is my focus in my career, in my business, is my passion to help people find their soulmate. And I know that there was, when you were manifesting your mate, there was a shift. There was something that happened there.
My husband certainly is a manifestation.
Yeah. Because you were envisioning him, right?
I was envisioning him. Absolutely. I envisioned him. I envisioned our lives. I envisioned our lives with a child. And when my husband and I initially met, he was indeed better than what I anticipated. I never expected to be with someone who was so community-minded. He has a care for people and things that truly is unmatched by most individuals. And I certainly wasn't expecting that. That came as a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
His loyalty. It came as a bonus. It's funny. He doesn't have any vices. He doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, doesn't do all those, doesn't womanize. He doesn't have any of those vices. Yeah. If he's addicted to anything, it's that he works too hard and cares too much for people. Mm-hmm. And every once in a while, I've got to rein him back in. But he's a beautiful person and an amazing manifestation. And it's funny, there was a time when we did not have children. And I remember thinking, wait a second, and I talked to the universe. I have conversations with the universe just like I'm having a conversation with you. Yes. I said to the universe, this wasn't the picture that I had. I didn't picture just me and my husband. There was a child in my picture. Where's my child? Mm-hmm. And shortly thereafter, my bundle of joy came along, and he was more than I had asked for.
Bless his little heart.
Bless his little heart.
Well, they do say, be careful what you ask for, because you don't get it.
He is a joy, and I have one child, and it's like I have 5 children. He's that active, he's that inquisitive, he is all that and more.
Yeah.
He is a sweet little boy. Andrew.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have the ability to manifest in our personal lives, in our loved lives, in our business lives, in our financial lives, especially. Nothing is off limits.
Mm-hmm.
Our lives are of importance to the universe.
Yeah.
The universe and source is living its life through us. And I'd like to believe or say, or it's my belief, I'll say it that way, it's my belief that the universe would never inspire you to desire or want something without having the provisions to make that dream come true for you.
Mm-hmm.
One would not make sense with the other, without the other. It just wouldn't make sense. So anything that is inspired, and remember the word inspired means in spirit.
Mm-hmm.
When you are inspired to something new, understand that indeed the provision and the resources are already there for you. But you have to take the steps forward in order for them to reveal themselves to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and don't you find that you only really get to see the next step? You don't get to see, like, way down the road you don't get to figure it all out and know exactly how it's going to happen. You only get the next step.
There have been times when I didn't get the next step. I just said, let's see. This looks like a pretty good step to take. I'll step over here. And it's okay if I make a mistake. I can recoil, fix, adjust, pivot, as you described earlier, when necessary.
Yeah.
So there is no fear about taking that next step, whatever it is going to be for you.
Mm-hmm.
In your dream, in your personal dream.
Yeah.
You know, as I started to study this information, and you know that I do study this information. It is a daily part of my life. Those few days when I have not turned my attention to studying, there's something missing. There's something missing in the day. And I will just double up the next day to make sure I get it in. But as I started to study this information, I just kind of questioned it and thought, okay, universe, is this really you, or is it my imagination? I'm going to test you, universe. What I'd like to do, and I figured I would do something really simple, or what I would consider simple. I said to the universe, universe, if you and I are working in tandem, and the law of attraction is what I'm learning that it is, I'd like someone who I don't know to ask me if I want some ice cream. And then I forgot about it. About a week later, my husband's son and I were at a little restaurant that we'd never been at before. It was like this little fast food hamburger place in a neighboring community. And we went in, ordered greasy hamburgers and fries. Really bad food, but we were eating. And my son and I were sitting at the table, and my husband had gone back to the counter for something. I don't recall what. And while he was standing there, the woman behind the counter asked him, "Do you think your wife would like some ice cream?" And he said to her, "No, I wasn't in earshot at the time." He said to her, "No, I don't think she wants anything." She ignored him, looked around the corner, yelled across the restaurant to me, "Miss, would you like some ice cream?" And she couldn't figure out why I found that so humorous. And you better believe I said, "Yes, I'll take whatever flavor you have." I love when the universe speaks on a level that I understand.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love those really clear, undeniable messages.
Right. Exactly. Love when you get the undeniable ones. It's like, oh, I can't even get around this. This is what it is. What it is.
Yeah, I know. Gosh, all these stories keep coming to mind. And it's like, oh. So, when do you find that your manifesting skills are the most effective?
When I am not distracted. When I am away from home, away from work, away from my to-do list.
Yes. The daily grind.
That's right. When I'm away and I quiet myself, things just get a lot clearer and my connection is stronger.
Yeah.
And I find that I am much more powerful then. I can manifest the next day.
Something that's very important to you is taking time away from family, so you have that solitude and you can get in touch with yourself. So, yeah, share with us this beautiful, amazing story.
It's funny. It is an amazing story. Going through it, it did not feel that way, but in hindsight, it's like, wow. So let me share with your audience what happened. I had become distraught, teary, upset, and I couldn't figure out why. It just wasn't tied to anything. And so I said to my husband, I need to get away for a bit. He was fine with that. And he said, well, where are you going to go? And I didn't know. I said to him, I'm going to point my car north. Where I stop, I stop. And I'll be back when I'll be back. And I'm not sure when that is. And so I got in my car. I made a list of the places that made me feel good. And I went, oh, that's right, this place, I feel good when I'm there. So I'll stop there. And oh yeah, I'll feel good at that place. So within a day, my balance was back in terms of emotionally. I just felt better. And let me back up the story one moment. I had said to my husband that there are three things that I want to do. I want to find my balance. I want to get my finances stabilized. And here was the odd thing that I'd never asked for before. I want to see me as God sees me. And I said to him, I am simply on a spiritual journey. And I don't know where this is going to take me. And then I said, I'm going to point my car north, and so on. So, day 2 or 3, I was in a hotel in upstate New York. And it was a fine hotel. I'd driven all day long and was tired and just simply stopped at a hotel. And I think I had been there 2 nights and was contemplating staying a 3rd night. And in passing, I thought, no, it's a little tight. I need more room. I need a little more space. Was the thought. It wasn't, I didn't say it out loud. I wasn't talking to anyone in particular. It was just a passing thought. I need a little more space. So I checked out of the hotel, got into my car, and when I left checkout, I grabbed a brochure. You know how they have those stands in many hotels, and they have different brochures of area attractions. Yeah. And I grabbed a brochure, and I, sitting in the car, looked at it, turned to the back, and there was a listing of retreats. I thought, wow, there are retreats here in upstate New York? And I began to read through them, and about the 3rd one down, I'm reading through the description, and it said, a place for spiritual journeys. And I thought to myself, wait a second. Someone owes me some money because they just took my copy. I know. That's exactly what I said to my husband. So I'll give this place a call. And so I called them, asked if I could come for a retreat. And they explained to me that I'd need to have a letter from either my priest or my pastor. And I thought, my pastor doesn't even know where I am, much less will I be needing to ask him for a letter. Can I just come? And the person on the phone said, well, let me check with my manager and I will get back to you. I said, that's fine. I wasn't tied to that place. I could continue to head north. And so I get a call back and the person says, my manager said it's fine. Come on. So I then went to it. And what's interesting is the description also talked about it being 300 acres. So I knew it was a huge place. That it had been a place that trained 1,300 men for the priesthood. And so I thought, well, that's good. The energy will be good there. I won't have to bring any energy. Mm-hmm. I'll arrive and the energy will be where I need it to be. So I finally arrive at the place and I go through the gates and I pass a little pond and I thought, oh, look how nice that is. And then I continue to drive up a little windy road and there's an orchard that I pass. I'm thinking, wow, how nice is this? And as I continued to drive, I went around a bend and the vista opened up and I was sitting on a hill above the Hudson River. And it was beautiful. And I thought, wow, this place is so cool. But nothing would have prepared me for the next bend that I went around in the road. Because as I rounded through, I was shocked that I was coming up on a castle. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh, it's a castle. So I'm sort of rushing to get in because I knew that the person who I had spoken to needed to leave. I couldn't figure out why that was important. I thought, well, the heck, if she leaves, there'll be someone else. But she had already explained it to me that she needed to lock the door mm-hmm. behind herself and that she'd be the only person. So anyway, I go in and I talk to her and she shows me the room and so on. And just an afterthought, I thought, how many other guests do you have staying? And she said, you're the only one. It was a while later before I remembered my thought of being in the small hotel room and thinking to myself, I need a little more space. Mm-hmm. So I went from a small hotel room to a castle all of my own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just absolutely, amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just love listening to it because it always reminds me of, getting into that flow and allowing things to unfold and that I don't have to be in control of everything. I don't have to figure everything out. That amazing things, amazing possibilities are just waiting there for us. Mm-hmm. Waiting for us to let go of that control and just allow.
Yeah. Allowing. It is an important concept in attracting mm-hmm. and the law of attraction in general. Allowing something bigger than yourself to know and to guide you and to supply you. You have to have enough control of yourself to let go of the control. Mm-hmm. And I often call myself a recovering control freak. I just haven't gone through the 12-step program. But because I have had experience in watching the universe create magnificent things for me, I am wise enough to know it's okay to allow my hands to release the wheel and allow the universe to steer me in a direction that is best for me. Believing that there is something that has unconditional love for you, and believing that there is something bigger than you that has your best interest in mind, takes a while to wrap your brain around. But when you accept that, the sky is the limit. Beautifully, the sky is the limit. You can then truly have, be, or do anything that you want. You can create anything in your life.
Yeah, so if that's the case, why do you feel that most people have difficulty in manifesting what it is that they want?
That's easy. We live in a society that teaches us from birth. You have to work hard. Nothing comes for free. Life ain't easy. Money doesn't grow on trees. Who do you think you are? And also, I think that our society teaches a very competitive way of being, as though there is a limited supply that we're all going after, so we have to compete for it. And that is not the way it truly is. That's not the truth. So the difficulty in manifesting is to unlearn all of the incorrect things that we have learned and accepted in our culture.
So you said yourself that there are some things that you find that are really easy to manifest. And then there are a few things that you struggle with manifesting, or they're not coming as easily. And I think many of us have that same experience. I know that, there are particular things I, too, find difficult to manifest. So what do you think the difference is? Let's kind of pull that apart.
I think part of the difficulty is in something that we talked about early in this interview. Believing that something is big, too big, really difficult, as opposed to something that is small. And I think it's also the desire factor. When you want or desire something, and I don't want to say it's too intense, but you have a lot of feelings around it of, wow, that might be too big. Oh, a mate like that might be higher than what I think I can attract, or I think that it is the accompanying thoughts that surround that desire which can hold you apart from it. Because you will find the things that you don't really care about that much, just things in passing, boom, next day, here they are.
Yeah.
I was in France and needed a pair of glasses that were at home, that were back in the United States. I had these shades that also were readers. And I'm in France, thousands and thousands of miles away from my home. And one afternoon, it was sunny. And I thought, ooh, I'd really like to have had my shades, but darn, they're at home. The next morning, I happened to look in my computer bag, a place where I would have never kept my glasses. And there they were. They had manifested themselves across the ocean just for me. Mm-hmm. But again, it wasn't something that I had tied my heart into and I needed it so bad. And yeah, it was easy. And I'm finding the things that I don't have emotional connections with, any negative or blocking emotional connections with, come easily. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And those that I do may take longer, but they come too. Thank goodness.
Yeah, so what do you find that letting go, like how much of an effect does that have on it, have you found? Like you decide you want something, you have the emotional desire, say you want a house, mm-hmm. you know exactly what you want, mm-hmm. you really are excited to have it, and then, because there's the one theory where you keep focusing on it and you keep visualizing it and then you just imagine yourself in it and all of this. And then there's the other theory of get it really set in your mind and then completely let it go. So have you found one to be more effective than the other?
No, I've used both. Excuse me. I have used both and both can work for me. Mm-hmm. I have found that I feel better when I use the technique to set it in my mind and then release it. Because I then don't continue to form opinions about it and harden it in my heart. Mm-hmm. Let it go. It will. I've had enough experience to know. And with this, you get to the point where you know. You relax in your knowing. You get to the point where you know it will come. And what's here right now, what's in my world, what has already manifested, is so good. But there's no need to miss this other thing. No need to. I recently learned something that really resonates with me. And that is this. The manifestation is not the thing. It is not the car. It is not the house. It is not the relationship. It is you. Mm-hmm. It is you recognizing, accepting, and allowing the you that you become when you have the thing. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You shift. When you desire something, you shift. And the universe takes that shift and moves in the direction of the shift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you
the manifestation itself has already happened vibrationally. Mm-hmm. But we hold ourselves apart from it because we are still thinking that we are stuck in the you without it or the me without it.
Yes.
When indeed, if you shift and go, oh, good, I already have this thing. I don't need to physically see it. I already own it. Mm-hmm. And that new person, that evolved person that you become, that is the manifestation.
Yes. Yeah, it's becoming who you need to become to be in alignment with what it is, this new desire you have.
That's right.
I really find that in relationships too. That's like one of the key steps in the spark process is aligning yourself and really aligning and becoming that person that your ideal partner is also going to resonate with. You have these qualities, these ideas, these traits that you want in your partner, and then I have them really ask themselves and get really honest and say, do I have this quality? Do I have these things? Am I my ideal partner? Do I have all of these same traits and qualities that I'm expecting in someone else? Do I have that within me? So, yeah. And that's the work, is becoming more and more of that person that you're looking to attract.
And what's the program called again? The Spark program? What's it called?
Love Spark. Mm-hmm.
Love Spark.
Yes.
And how do we find out some more information about Love Spark?
TheAwakenedGoddess.com.
TheAwakenedGoddess.com. Mm-hmm. All right. Your audience needs to go there if they are looking for mates and other things to manifest.
That's right.
I like it.
Yeah, and that's really the cool thing about the Spark process, is that it works really well for manifesting a partner, but it also works, really, you can apply it to any area of your life, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
because the process is the same.
It is.
It is to desire, and we do that automatically, even without thinking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then to allow it to come.
Yeah.
And take steps. Inspired steps.
Yes. Yeah, and it's something like you said earlier, you really trained yourself to embody the principles of like the law of attraction and how the energy works. And so I know you have some very specific things you do on a daily basis. So I would love for you to share what your daily spiritual practices are that have really impacted you the most.
One thing that has always been a part of my life, and now a more focused part, is being grateful and being appreciative. I turn it into a game where I list 15 things that I'm appreciative of. I appreciate this, I appreciate that, and they run the gamut. I appreciate that it's sunny today. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that I feel so good today. I appreciate the yellow and gray comforter that's on my bed that's so warm, that makes me feel so good. And I not only list the appreciations, but each of them I feel the feelings that are associated with the thing that I appreciate. Mm-hmm. I meditate regularly and get quiet. I recognize when things aren't going the way that I want, desire, or appreciate. I recognize, I've asked for a change in those things, and I realize that the solution has already come. So I don't have to muddle and play and fret and fuss in the things that I don't like.
Yeah.
I turn my back on them, recognizing that the universe has already heard my desire for something different. Mm-hmm. And I ride that vibration.
Yeah.
Now that takes a lot of training.
It does.
Because things will get in your face and feel very, very real, mm-hmm. and you want to respond to those things head on. The work comes in training yourself not to look at what is all of the time.
Yeah.
Recognize, I've already asked for change in that. Even without asking, when I saw it, I realized, I don't want that. Mm-hmm. And my universe has already resolved that for me. And so I'll hang out on the resolving end as opposed to the problem end.
Yeah.
What I've noticed about that is problems have a shorter lifespan when I don't give them my attention.
Mm-hmm. And really thinking about how much energy we have the tendency to put towards things that we don't want. And
Oh my
so,
goodness.
yeah, learning how to pull your energy back and take that same energy and redirect it to what you want.
Oh, I
Yeah.
could not have said that better if I had said it. Exactly. Exactly. Taking that same energy, that focus, which is your gift, and focusing it toward what you want,
Yeah.
and not fighting against what you don't want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your energy can't be split that way. It can't be partially on what you don't want and partially on what you do want.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be fully on what you do want.
Yeah.
But your question was, what other practices do I have? So I talked about my list of appreciation, I talked about meditating, and I've talked about turning my focus to what I do want.
Yeah.
Those are probably the three keys.
I always love to share with the listeners a really simple, practical tip that they can use. So what would you say would be the best place to start? Something that's really doable for people that want to manifest in some pretty cool ways.
First thing I'd say is change your environment. Take a day and go to the beach or somewhere else outside of your norm.
Mm.
If you're going to change what you're looking at, if you want to change what's coming at you, then you've got to change what you see.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd take a couple of days and go off somewhere by myself. It's amazing how much inspiration you get when you get quiet and you look at trees in someone else's yard other than your own. They look different. They feel different. They speak to you differently. So that would be one practice. And then I would add meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're back in your own environment, you need a way to shut it all out. And so I would make it a practice of meditating, starting at 5 minutes, because meditation is not easy. It looks easy. It's, you can be on the outside going, there's someone sitting there with their eyes closed. Mm-hmm. Meditation is not easy because you have to be able to quiet the noise from the past, quiet the questions about the future, and be in the moment. So find a guided meditation, and we live in a wonderful time where the internet is available to you, where you can click and find a guided 5-minute meditation and put that into your practice. And in that meditation, get yourself quiet enough, and after a few weeks of doing that, ask for something and watch the universe bend over backwards to get it to you.
Love it. Oh, I'm so glad we got to talk about all your really cool stories. I'll just have to have you on. I know that you have a book that you're working on about your trip to France and the things that you manifested there, and I know that that's forthcoming, and so I am excited to have you on the show when you're ready to share that with us.
Oh, yeah, and thank you. I am going to take that as an open invitation to come back and be interviewed by you a second time. It's nice to talk in this venue. I enjoy sharing with people an ability that they don't recognize that they have. And anyone who knows me knows that I get more excited or just as excited about someone else's manifestations as I do my own.
Yeah. Because
it's like ding, 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 ding. Mm-hmm. Another person recognizes how powerful they are. Yay!
Yeah. Well, another cool thing that, one of your amazing gifts is real estate investing. And I know you have some pretty awesome books that are available to, if someone is interested in real estate investing, that is something Roz is brilliant at. And so I'll definitely put a link to for people to check out your books.
My books right now are available on Amazon.com and at booksbyroz.com.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone who is interested in changing their financial life and understanding more about real estate investing can find educational material there.
Awesome. Oh, this was so much fun.
It's always fun talking to you, and it was interesting having listeners in on our conversation.
Yeah. Yes. So hopefully you all get something juicy from this. The most awesome discussions happen after the show over at theawakenedgoddess.com. So get yourself over there and leave a comment right now. Did you enjoy this episode? If so, subscribe to the show. And of course, it would be amazing if you shared this with all of your friends. And if you want even more incredible resources, come on over to theawakenedgoddess.com and sign up for email updates. And until next time, goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Awakened Goddess. I hope you enjoyed today's show and took away something you can start using in your life right away. For more spiritual insights and to listen to more episodes, subscribe to The Awakened Goddess Show at thegoddessnextdoor.com and discover wisdom that'll change your life.